San Marcos is one of the most underrated cities in San Diego, and today I'm gonna show you why. I'm going over what I absolutely love about living here and what I'm not really a big fan of. Hey guys, my name's Nenad and I'm a real estate advisor in San Diego, so if you have any questions about life around here, or maybe you wanna know more about our real estate market, well then just shoot me an email, or you can even send me a text or give me a call over at my personal number. Alright, so one of my favorite things about San Marcos is just how nice the weather is. There's over 265 sunny days here, and it's usually anywhere from 70 to 80 degrees. We're also a bit more inland over here, and actually the closer you get to the beach, the more overcast it gets. There's this really heavy marine layer until about 11 or 12 o'clock, but it clears up way earlier in San Marcos. So you end up getting a lot of sunshine even though it's still gloomy along the coast. And this means you can really take advantage of the outdoors. There's tons of hiking trails, parks, kids activities, basically everything you'd want. And one of my favorite hiking trails is over at Double Peak. The views are absolutely incredible, and you can pretty much see all of San Diego County up here. Now, if you have kids, there's really no shortage of activities. There's soccer, baseball, volleyball, and there's tons of different sports leagues. Plus, all of the public schools in San Marcos have really solid athletic programs. And if you love golfing, well, there's a few really good options. And my personal favorite is St. Mark's, which is right by Lake San Marcos. And it's a full 18-hole course, and you get some really awesome views. There's also this fun little restaurant and bar called Brickman's, and it's just a great place to hang out at. Hey guys, if you could just real quick hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, it would really mean a lot to me. It helps the channel grow and I can make more videos just like this one. Alright, now San Marcos has grown so much over the last few years. You've got a ton of new housing and retail, and the entire area over by North City is completely new. There's coffee shops, co-working spaces, restaurants, and it's really cool because it kind of feels like a mini downtown over here. And one of my favorite restaurants here is Buona Forchetta, so definitely check it out if you love pizza and pasta. They're also building a 16-acre park and 3,400 residential units, so this is going to be a really popular spot. Everything's going to be right at your fingertips and you're getting great walkability. Now, another area that's getting a big revamp is Restaurant Row. This was actually the go-to spot in San Marcos back in the day, but it kind of just died out over the last few years. But now it's going to be a huge new development, and I'm super excited about this one because it's going to be so much more than just new housing. There's plans for multiple dog parks, an outdoor amphitheater, pickleball courts, playgrounds, so they did a really good job including something for the entire community. All right, now let's talk about some of the housing prices in San Marcos. And the reality is that everyone knows San Diego is expensive, but there's still some areas where you can get more for your money. So if you look at Encinitas, Carlsbad, or even parts of Poway and Rancho Bernardo, those places are easily 10 to 20 to 30% higher. Now in some of the older neighborhoods of San Marcos, you can still find a really nice single family home in the $800,000 to $950,000 range. But if you want something that's a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit newer, then you're probably looking at around 1.2 million and up. And I know it seems like a lot, but you're getting a very similar lifestyle to areas that are much more expensive. Also, what I really love is that there's a good mix of options to choose from. So there's condos or even detached homes that are more in that first-time homebuyer price range, or you can go all the way up to custom estates. And there's also places like San Elijo, which kind of feel like its own little separate town. It's just a great family-friendly area where everyone seems to know each other, and you've got everything from restaurants, coffee shops, your own grocery store, plus you're within walking distance to the elementary and middle school. Everything's really well maintained around here with big new roads everywhere, and a lot of the homes in San Elijo have some of the most amazing views. Most of them are newer with more modern layouts, and it's just an easy place to raise a family. There's parks, lots of hiking trails, and there's always an event going on. So if you're someone who's looking for a master plan community without paying those higher coastal prices, well then San Elijo's a solid option. Now another area that I really like is Lake San Marcos. It has this cool resort style feel to it, and living here feels like you're on a year-long vacation. There's 2 golf courses, tennis courts, people driving around in their golf carts, and it's just a very laid-back neighborhood. And of course, you've got the lake here, and some of the houses have their own private boat docks. There's also a few restaurants around, there's the Lake House Resort, and a few other small businesses all right there. I also love all the different events they have around here, and it's just a great little neighborhood. Now, one of the newest areas in San Marcos is Mission Circle. It's a gated community with a swimming pool and clubhouse, and most of these were built back in 2022. You get really easy access to the 78 freeway, and they're all super big and modern, and some of them even have 5 bedrooms. So lots of space for the whole family here. And another really popular community right now is Rancho Tesoro. It's a 250-acre master plan community with 40 acres of open space. So you get these really great canyon views over here. There's single family homes, there's townhomes, and some of the different sections are gated for extra security. You also get some nice amenities like barbecues, pools, clubhouses, and it's just a fun place to hang out with all your neighbors. So yeah, you get a ton of different real estate options here in San Marcos. Okay, so let's talk about something that may or may not be a negative, and that's the nightlife. And just being completely completely upfront with you, there really isn't one around here. San Marcos is definitely a lot more family oriented, so I get a ton of young families that want to move here. But let's say you're in your 20s or 30s and you want a really good social scene, well then it's probably going to feel a little bit slow. Now don't get me wrong, there's still some really good food spots and a few bars and breweries, but it's not even close to what you'll get over in North Park, Little Italy, or even in Encinitas. Most places close up around 10 o'clock, so if you want to stay out late on a Friday night, then San Marcos probably isn't the move. But if you don't mind grabbing an Uber, then Encinitas is only about 20 minutes away, and Oceanside has a ton of new places popping up right now. So it's not like you're completely out of options. So yeah, I usually recommend San Marcos when I'm working with a family, but if you're single or you don't have kids, then you might want to look somewhere else. Now, a big reason why families want to move here is because the public school system. It's actually the 5th best school district in all of San Diego County, and it has the 7th best athletic program. Test scores are much higher than in Vista or in Oceanside, and they hold up against some of the top districts like you get in Poway or over in Carlsbad. There's also a huge focus on STEM here, and it starts super early on in elementary school. They basically have these STEM labs where students learn about some really cool things like design and engineering. Now there's a total of 19 elementary, middle, and high schools, and a lot of money has gone into remodeling them. For example, San Marcos High and Richland Elementary, they were basically rebuilt from the ground up. And right now, Mission Hills is getting a big revamp on some of their sports facilities. And speaking of high school sports, they're a huge focus here, and a lot of their programs end up winning state championships. So it's just a really solid mix of academics and sports, so it's no surprise that families want to live here. And if you don't want to go the public school route, then there's 7 different private schools. So there's just a ton of different options, and you really can't go wrong with any of them. Now, with all the new developments going up and all the new people moving in, you're going to be dealing with a lot of traffic. So during rush hour, especially over on San Marcos Boulevard or the 78 freeway, things can get pretty backed up. And I always tell people to live as close as possible to work because the traffic is only getting worse basically everywhere in San Diego. So let's just say you commute to downtown every morning, well, you're going to spend a lot of time sitting on the freeway. But if you're just driving around locally, or maybe you work over in Carlsbad, then it's definitely going to take longer during rush hour, but it's a lot more manageable. Now, they are trying to expand some of the roads and freeways around here, but most of them just weren't built for this many cars. So hopefully it gets a little better, but it's just something that you got to deal with right now. And I will say that parking is really easy because most of the shopping plazas have lots of parking spaces. So I guess it could be worse. All right, now the last thing I want to mention, which might actually be the most important thing, and that's how safe it feels in San Marcos. The sheriff's department has a big presence here, and they just do a really great job. There's also been a big focus on keeping all the parks, trails, and public areas safe for everybody. So if you look at the overall crime rates, they're quite a bit lower than you get in other cities in San Diego. The violent crime rate is about 2 per 100,000 people, which is way lower than the national average, and property crime is about 9 per 1,000 people, and that's lower than most of North County. And it's great because all the neighbors look out for each other, and you'll see people out walking their dogs and kids playing in the parks. So I really don't have a problem saying that San Marcos is very safe. Of course, I can't guarantee that nothing will ever happen because occasionally you have a car break-in or maybe some kind of package theft. So make sure you just take some basic precautions just like you would anywhere else. Or maybe reach out to the local police station to get official crime statistics if that's something you're really worried about. All right, guys, so San Marcos is still kind of flying under the radar, but honestly, I don't see that happening for much longer. And the more time you spend around here, you really get to see why so many people move here. Now, is it perfect? No, but for a lot of people, it checks off a lot of boxes. And if you're thinking of buying a home in San Diego, make sure you send me an email or shoot me a text. All my information's on the screen or down in the description, so it's really easy to get a hold of me. And even if you're not making a move right at this second, still make sure you reach out because there's a ton of things we can work on. And that way, when you're ready to move, everything will just be way easier. But also make sure you watch some of my other videos, or maybe just watch this one right over here. They're all super helpful and they're packed with a ton of information. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.